Press go on my.
Everybody press go now.
Boom.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Xbox Bethesda E3 Showcase. I am the Clown Prince of Podcast, Trasnell, and I'm joined by Mr. Xbox.
I am the Spartan Taylor Field.
I am the Adam Hart caster, Dylan Musk. That name is more relevant than ever now, apparently.
And I am, you know what? I will do the same thing. I am the noob fanboy Clay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can go back. We did Ubisoft yesterday. We did Summer Games Fest a few days ago. We'll be doing Square Enix, Nintendo, and then some other things that pop up. Everything we do is down below in the links if you're watching the video or audio versions or Patreon, audio, video, all that stuff we're going to get into because we got 50 minutes to talk about this before Square Enix. So, Taylor Field, you're Mr. Xbox. What did you think about this year's presentation? Now, the first one with them pairing with Bethesda as well.
Yeah. I thought it was definitely a pick me up, I'd say, from Ubisoft's, because overall it was like consistent. It was game after game after game, and there were multiple games that were generally getting me excited. And again, the big factor for this was day one Games Pass. That's a huge plus for me because I'm saving so much money, and these titles look thrilling, aside from like unknown sequels to games I'd never even heard of the originals, like you pointed out. But there are so many things that just have me pumped, and I can't wait to go through the list of games here and discuss it all. So this conference, aside from it ended on a very high note, I would say, because that title, which we'll get to, has me really excited. But that brief little developer segment and kind of like gameplay reveal that they showed before, that was kind of like just kind of simmered my excitement down a little bit, but it's just
you can
so
call
long.
Forza. You don't got to jump around it.
Spoiler free. Yeah, Forza. They did like a large. It felt like 10 minutes of Forza. Just felt unnecessary in my opinion, because they had such highs before and some epic crossovers too, like with Sea of Thieves and everything like that. So, yeah, I'm excited though.
Dilmas.
Yeah. So I am a big Bethesda fan, traditionally Xbox fan. I've kind of wavered in the past, but about a month ago, I picked up my Xbox Series X. So kind of more invested in this conference than ever, because they always do this where there's like this Game Pass, day one. And so the fact that there was so many games in here that I just kind of have included on this console that I have sitting next to me right here is pretty exciting. I mean, to me, this was like the perfect show. There was maybe a couple points where they went on too long, or really only the one point with Forza, but I don't know. I just thought this was an amazing show. Tons of maybe not tons, but a few surprises. Good looks at games that we've known about in the past. I think a couple like Starfield is maybe a bit of a letdown. We'll go into the specifics, but overall, I mean, I'm looking at this little chart that I went back and found it in the conference where they showed like here's what's coming out in the near future, and there's like a consistent amount of stuff through the summer, September, October. So they've got a good like showing for the rest of the year, kind of to finish us off here. And then so I thought it was an amazing show. I'm excited to talk about some of it more in detail.
Clay, on the watch long, you said I had to convince you by an Xbox to do that, or are you still waiting?
I think I am convinced. I told Taylor yesterday that Microsoft needs to convince me to buy an Xbox. Now, the big thing was this whole Game Pass thing. You guys told me some more details that a lot of these games are going to be cross-play with PC and Xbox, or at least majority of these games are. I do have a gaming PC that I built myself. So Game Pass may be my, at least, entrance, my foot in the door. Yeah. But I think I am going to buy an Xbox. The main reason why, a lot of these really cool looking games were Xbox exclusives. So I think for sure this was a very good show. Best one we've seen this weekend. It's pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, I gotta say, I share a similar sentiment as far as I think this is the best show they've done since we've been doing this, honestly. I think they got great pacing, great games, and we talked about this years ago of like them acquiring and buying a bunch of studios, especially now big Bethesda. It would eventually build up to them having all these things to show off, where for a while it just felt like it was Halo and Gears. And yeah, we saw more Halo here, but this was long awaited. People were wanting it. I think they did a really, really good job. I think they ended with something big. Yeah, sure, it's not like a smoking gun, like something that's been anticipated for a while, or like a big IP, but the fact that it is them, we'll talk about later, ending with Arcane, seems like they have lots of faith in that game, and it's really cool to end on a new IP. There is maybe a few moments where that could have been a bit better, Forza specifically, but I think this was a great show, and I think they were near. I only give 5 to one Nintendo conference and PlayStation. I don't think this will be a 5, but they were really close throughout. They had just a little lulls and whatnot, and a few things went, it could have been different, but I think they had a fantastic showcase. So let's just jump right in this. Dylan, I'm going to start with you because you're Mr. Bethesda. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But today they showed off Starfield, but more importantly, we got an official launch date as of right now of November 11th, 2022. So next fall. What do you feel about that? And what do you feel about what they did show off today?
Yeah, the release date was kind of talked about by Jason Schreier primarily, and he's usually on the ball with these kind of things. I was hoping he was wrong. I was hoping it'd be earlier. It's not. That's fine. I think the showing was a bit of a disappointment in the sense that it didn't really answer any questions I had, to be honest. Now that I think about it, I was kind of curious, like, is this game going to be you're kind of on one planet and it's like one giant map that you're playing around on, kind of like Fallout or Skyrim or Elder Scrolls have been in the past? Or is it more just these kind of larger areas that you can kind of fly in between, like Outer Worlds? Or is it more like No Man's Sky in a way, and that you can just go wherever the hell you want and there's like tons of stuff and maybe a lot of it's procedurally generated or something like that? And they didn't really answer that question. So, I mean, I imagine it's going to be similar to their Elder Scrolls Fallout games in terms of the kind of games they make, obviously. But I didn't really get a sense of what the actual game will play like. And so that's a bit disappointing. And I guess really the only thing it really maybe answered for me is kind of what Taylor brought up during our live stream, was that it seems to be a bit more based in reality instead of being fantastical. Like even Fallout based in reality, but there's, these giant mech machines and things that we didn't actually have technology of before the bombs went off in the world. So yeah, I was hoping for a bit more there, but I'm glad that they put a release date. It seems kind of weird to show so little and then have a release date. So I don't know if it's a solid date by any means, but I guess I'm glad we saw it. I guess I don't know. I think I'm a bit bummed by it, but the rest of the show kind of brought me back up to various hype levels.
Yeah, I'll go because I'm similar on that as far as like with Taylor, and you'll get to speak more about that. But as far as I'm not showing anything fantastical, I don't really take that to the bank because I just feel like it's the first teaser, and I feel like that could easily be the setup. And then they land on some planet, and that's the planet that has a bunch of fucking weird aliens and space monsters, and they break out this tech we haven't seen before. You could be right, but I just don't buy they're just going to do like not a regular space game, but a grounded space game. I don't see that happening. But yeah, I'm excited because it's almost like the Kevin Feige MCU thing of like, even when I doubt them, I go, well, they have a track record with me. I do trust them. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt till I play the game. It's just twice now that I've been so disappointed with Starfield, and I know what the studio can do, but it's just like the first time we saw this game was some stars in a spaceship and everyone got hyped, and I was like, we've seen nothing. And again, they've shown us nothing. I don't even think this was needed. I honestly think you could have not had this here and just kept building hype and then wait till next year so you get the final, like, here we're doing the big reveal, full trailer, full gameplay, stuff like that. Like, this is like, we saw, even if the narration gave a little bit about the story, but it's just very generic, like, we got an adventure into space. It's just like, I just wish there was something, even if Todd Howard more gave, like, even in words, said a bit more about the game, like Dylan saying, like, is it one planet? Are you traveling? Like, what's the scope of it? I wish there was just a little bit more. So I do trust them. Come next E3, they'll show us a good show, and hopefully that will finally kind of, feed my hunger. But as right now, I still just go, well, Starfield is just an anomaly right now. It's still just a game they're making. So I don't know. Clay, where did you feel on Starfield's kind of confirming of a date, hopefully coming next November?
Well, with most of these games, I will say this. I am going in blind. Like I said before, I'm not an Xbox person. I have this really expensive computer. I should have been using it for the past year and a half with Xbox stuff, but I just didn't. This looks like it could be very intriguing. Now, it does trigger me a little bit when Dylan said this could be a No Man's Sky thing, just because of what happened with that game. Hopefully it will not happen here. But I thought overall it looked really nice, and it was a nice touch to put the release date within the cinematic, or was that even cool. Or was that gameplay? I don't know, but it was still really cool.
Yeah. I will say the No Man's Sky thing is more just like the style of the game. Like, is it that you can just go to tons and tons of planets, and they're kind of probably some procedural generation to help them do that. But yeah,
Taylor Field, Starfield. Starfield. Look at that.
Yeah, it's funny because I kind of hopped back in like kind of like as it was like engaging. So all I saw was really like the moon and some ships and,
that's all
stuff.
they showed, man.
That's
it. You didn't miss anything except for Todd Howard doing his Todd Howard thing.
But I mean, I think it's intriguing because again, I've never been one in terms of the Bethesda stuff like with Fallout games where it being more like the shooter kind of style and like sideways technology from the past, but a lot of like advanced technology where it's the two periods combining without the instance of the present day technology. That was never really for me as cool as it was. I was always into the medieval part of it, like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. So for them to be doing this where it feels like it has the aesthetic of present day, go ahead like 20 years in the future, kind of, or it's within our lifetime on another planet like the moon. I think that's super, super cool. It makes me curious, okay, because we didn't see the threat. We don't know what the main objectives are in this game, what it's going to entail. And that has me excited because is it going to be like discovering some alien thing on the moon, or there's going to be some catch, some enemy to go up against? So I'm just excited for what's to come.
Well, Taylor, I'll let you start off. Are you excited about Stalker 2, The Heart of Chernobyl?
I've never heard of Stalker 1, but I mean, I was kind of like joking about it because, yeah, I mean, the name is Stalker 2, and the guy just walks out into the open and just doesn't even zoom in. He blind fires like an old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and he just kills everyone. So I don't know. It's on Games Pass, so am I going to try it? Probably not. There's a lot of other games on there, so.
Fair enough. Clay, did this float your boat at all?
Not really. I mean, the idea that there was a second Chernobyl, basically, and it forced like this mutation of like alien whatever into existence. It doesn't really tickle my fancy, as the kids say. I don't know if kids say that these days.
I don't think
the adults say it these days, to be honest.
But just like Taylor said, if I end up getting Games Pass, there's so many other games to choose from. This is probably not going to be on my radar at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't have much to say. I'm kind of that same boat. I think there was some cool stuff in there. I really like that one monster that had like the tendrils coming out and it was like widespread looking like Predator. But I think I'm with you guys. Like, it doesn't look bad, but there's just so much other I would play to put before this, unless it comes out and lots of people say, hey, you got to play this game. But Dylan, are you any different on this than we are?
I think I'm excited because it's on Game Pass and I can play it without really much investment at all. So I'm into it. It looks just like a Metro, I don't know, parallel experience. So I'm down to check it out because it's on Game Pass. Otherwise, I would skip it.
Mm-hmm. Next, we got Contraband. Not much, just a quick little cinematic trailer. We had some Steely Dan, so Dylan was excited about that. I'm excited to learn more, but just was an announcement trailer, so cool. Anyone have anything to add on that?
Looked intriguing.
Yeah.
I will say that there's... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the only thing that really intrigues me is that Avalanche is a part of this. Like I said, it's been a while for me personally to see Avalanche make a game, or at least me pay attention to the developers. So for me, that's the pull in. I would like to see some gameplay to really tell me if like, hey, this is the game for me. But I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I liked the teaser. There was just so little in there to latch onto. Obviously Steely Dan just makes me inherently more interested, but I will say that there's probably at least like 50 better Steely Dan songs than that one. So I don't know why everything, it's always Dirty Work or Do It Again. I don't know why they can't do any other Steely Dan songs. It's always from the first album. They got so much better in the late 70s. Let's see something from Asia or Gaucho. I'm just sick of this. Always from the first album. It's not even Steely Dan in their prime. Come on.
And Taylor, just to answer this, because you did bring this up, I've seen a few people report that this one is an Xbox exclusive open world game by Xbox Studios and Avalanche. So
the Contraband is
yeah, Contraband. Yeah, I really like
the Rage 2 team, right? Is making that.
Yeah, and I think Just Cause they made this game, or they had some of it, and I really enjoy those. So yeah, we'll see. It's got to see more. Next was a really good get, I think, for Sea of Thieves. We were joking to it's like, oh, look, some little Pirates of the Caribbean action. We're watching along, and then lo and behold, you see the dreadlocks.
That was so good.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Taylor, let's get this is floating your boat, right?
It is floating my boat. Now, I know originally I'm with you guys when this game first came out. I wasn't super sold on it because again, like riddles and all that jazz. But as time progressed and I actually indulged in it, like I eat my words because the game is great. I've sunk in many hours trying to do quests with my friends. Like it is absolutely such a thrill, especially when other people are coming at you. When you're sailing on your boat and all of a sudden you see another pirate ship out in the distance, and then it turns to face you, it's like, oh shit, we got to get out of here. We got to get the loot out of here and everything. It's crazy. And now they have Jack Sparrow thrown into the mix. That is so awesome. Gibbs, I'm pretty sure I saw Cotton in the trailer too. Like it's just, there's some awesome
don't forget about Davy Jones.
Oh yeah, and then the big hunka, I'm gonna say Davy Jones with I can't remember the name of his ship, the Flying Dutchman, right? Yeah, Flying Dutchman. Yeah. Oh, that's so badass. Just getting the ship battles.
And isn't that? I feel like in Sea of Thieves already had the thing where some of the ghost ships will come out of the water, right? Like,
they've got lots of stuff like that.
They already have the animations in the game. They just got to put the new textures on there.
Oh yeah. I'm so pumped.
I'm really excited to check this out with you guys. I've played a good, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 hours of Sea of Thieves. It's really fun to play with your friends. The combat kind of sucks, but just the exploration and just being on the boat with your friends and playing instruments and, making sure your inventory is good, patching up the holes. It's just such a fun gameplay loop there. Mm-hmm. And so to have this crossover, I mean, it's obviously just the most perfect crossover. So this has got me back into the game, and I haven't, I played it for like a couple weeks with my friends. I haven't gone back to it, but I'm really excited to play with you guys again.
I do want to note, I think that's very interesting because, I mean, Disney, I think, has done stuff in the past with Xbox, but mostly their game stuff was with that Disney Infinity title, I believe. So it's cool to see Disney kind of putting their toes back out into the gaming world.
Dipping their toes in the water.
Yeah, I same thing. Flashback to years ago when we were doing this, they show E3. It was a bad thing of like the classic players with the webcam playing. Whoa, look at this! Oh man, he'll go, and it was just like, oh, this made it look really cheesy, really lame. Animation was like, because I remember it just felt like they were trying to make it as like a big exclusive, and that's not what this game to me was. I think they marketed poorly the first time. I think they figured out what its niche is and how to promote it. You guys have said good things about it, so I could tell you pretty much that I think we'll probably stream this, and I think this will be my first experience because this is just a reason I've always wanted to. We've talked about, so yeah, sure, at some point, and this is like, okay, there's an event. That's always a fun reason. Jack Sparrow's in there. Still love the pirate movies. Sure, we got some shit ones near the end, but it's a franchise that once you hear the theme, once you see the character, it kind of gets your nostalgia going because, man, that first movie came out in like, what, 2006, 2005 or something? So it's been a while. It's been almost 20 years. So, yeah, Clay, what about you?
I am pretty excited about this. It's funny that you said the whole thing with the announcement of Sea of Thieves because an old friend of mine actually did the art for my profile picture on Discord. She won a contest and she was a part of the announcement trailer.
Nice.
So the one that Travis just shit all over. But
not her fault. All it takes is people making a bad trailer.
Like just having that and seeing that, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And the idea of it being an entire crew manning a ship, I always thought that was really cool. And now, because I'm so hyped about Game Pass, being able to play this will be actually really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Next, we got Back for Blood. This is a big showcase. Obviously, Warner Brothers I think they have a showcase either tomorrow or later. I can't remember, but I think it's just going to be
today.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just going to be a segment talking about this game. That's what's on the schedule. So I've not really played the Left 4 Deads. I will try this out, I think, with you guys once, but it looked fun. It looked like if you want to have a good time with friends shooting down zombies, this is the game for you if you like that genre. There's lots of cool monster types, lots of cool visuals, lots of cool designs. So I think they did a really good job. How about you, Dylan?
Yeah, I don't know why Valve, between Left 4 Dead, Portal, Team Fortress, other games, just for some reason doesn't like to make a third in a series. They just hate that number 3 apparently. So I think the fact that I love Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, and the fact that the team that made those games or part of that team is going to make the game, they can't use the word Left 4 Dead, but they're making that third game finally, is amazing. I love Left 4 Dead, and coming out in October. Game Pass means that a lot more people will be playing it, so the multiplayer will be nice, full lobbies and stuff like that. So hell yeah, I'm just super down for this.
Taylor, what about you? You've been shooting on this game all week in our Discord. So
how was the trailer for you? Change your mind?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I'm happy that it's got fan base like great and all that. I mean, in terms of zombie games, like my heart goes to like Dying Light, that sort of stuff. But I mean, this is a good game to play with friends. We streamed, you, me, Kirklin did Left 4 Dead 2 not too long ago, and it was a good time. So it's coming to Games Pass, so I absolutely will definitely play it with you guys.
Clay, you have any history with Left 4 Dead or
I do have a history with Left 4 Dead because back then on the 360 Left 4 Dead was a thing. So I did get the chance to play the first one. I think I've played the second one randomly when going to friends' houses and stuff like that. Having this come back, and it looked like a completely different art style as far as like how the zombies or whatever you want to call them look. It looks really, really good. I am a sucker for just stylization in video games, and this one looks awesome. So I'm pretty hyped about it.
There we go. And then what was that's coming out October. So there you go. You got that coming out. 12 Minutes is coming out August 19th, 2021. Didn't show much to Dylan's behest because he did not want to see too much, but lots of talk about this game. Annapurna Pictures, I know them more their film side, but they're doing really cool stuff. And this is one, Game Pass, I will definitely be checking out because it's just like, even if I don't like it, it's like, well, I download it, play it for a little bit, here we go, but it's fun. You got James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe, 3 great people in there. So Taylor, is this one on your radar? I feel like it's a skip one for you.
This is the 12 Minutes one. I mean, it looked mysterious, but it's probably not one that I would really hop on board with. I've never really been a go-to for these kind of games where it just seems like it's a lot of like psychological storyline, I guess, and everything. But I mean, to each his own. I'm not shitting on it or anything. I think it looks very intriguing, and it's got some big names behind it that are partaking in like these character roles. So it's definitely going to have a very interesting story. So if you stream it, I'll definitely tune into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've never really streamed like a really story-heavy game. I don't know how that would. I feel like I wouldn't want to talk. I just want to pay attention. But I mean, I love a game with a good time loop, and this game has that for sure. I did not know this was going to be coming to Game Pass, and I don't think the release date's been announced before this date. Like, I've been keeping a close eye on this game for at least a year, if not a year and a half. So we got the release date, and it's coming to Game Pass. So 2 great surprises coming out soon, and I can kind of play it within my subscription already. So super down for it. I don't want to say anything else. No more spoilers. Just give me the game.
Clay, for you?
For me, I do have a question though for you three, since y'all are big on Xbox. The Series X and the Series S. The Series S is the like just toned down as far as graphics wise, right?
It has no disc drive in it. It is digital only.
Oh, see, that is right up my alley. I don't like discs.
It's literally a Games Pass console.
Scare me.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
no, that's what
also-
I have for my PS5. It's the digital PS5, so that would go right up my alley, and it's white, so it matches everything. So I think I will.
Yeah, it's 1440p, I think, rather than 4K.
Yeah,
and then I think it's probably a little bit weaker in terms of the power, but not too much. So like you might as well get it if you don't want the discs necessarily. You don't care about 4K.
Well, I mean, I don't have a 4K TV, so I guess that counts because 12 minutes does intrigue me. I love story games, especially if there is like a huge like mystery around it. And you said there is time loops, like that is totally
it's
up
like
my
you
alley.
play the same 12 minutes over and over again. And
So
try and do
yeah,
different
this
things
is
and whatnot.
totally up my alley. So I may be eyeing a Series S pretty soon, I guess.
Nice.
I have
Man.
I have an Xbox, but I'm still a Sony pony. Let's just get that clear. I'm still Sony fanboy for life here. Psychonauts 2 release
Sony.
date. I've never played. Oh yeah, this guy had a PS4 not too long ago, and he had a PS5 pre-order at one point in his life.
I'm just kidding. But I mean, let's be honest. Everyone loves a good E3 showing, and Sony's like, we're too cool for that. Fuck you. Just give it
They
do
are
showing.
too,
The fans
they're
love
too
it.
cool.
The fans love it.
They're better than all of us. Hail Sony. Psychonauts 2. Never play them. Never will. Probably. Release date came out. Do you guys got anything to add on this guy?
Which one was it?
Psychonauts 2.
I just said during the broadcast that it looks really, really good as far as, like I said, thematically and just the art and the colors. I've always been interested in it. When was the first one? The first one came out in
A long time ago.
It was, I think, Xbox 360 generation.
It might have been original Xbox even. Like it was a long time ago.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, it definitely looks really, really good. If it's a Game Pass, then I'll give it a try.
It sure is. Yeah, I think the big thing here was the release date. August 25th is that one. I don't know when I'll be checking it out because I want to play the first one before that, and I don't know if I'll get the time. The first one is on Game Pass as well, so you can catch up and then check out the second one. So I don't know if I'll be checking it out this year, but it's definitely added to my backlog, and it's nice that it'll be on Game Pass for probably ever since it's Xbox first party studio.
Taylor, anything in Psychonauts, or you want to move right to Halo?
We can go right to Halo. I don't have much for Psychonauts.
Well, before we get to Halo, let's take our first ad break, and then we're going to let Taylor just lose his ever-living mind, and we'll be right back. So, Taylor, we got the announcement of the multiplayer and Halo supposedly coming out. It says holiday 2021. So, before I throw the Taylor, all I have to add is I still see a future of this game getting delayed, much like Horizon being like, yeah, we're hoping it's coming. It looks good, but we don't know about Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West. So, that's my only prediction. I bet it doesn't come out. I don't know, but we'll see. Taylor Field. This is a game that a few weeks ago.
I love it. Oh,
yeah, but hang on. I got to preference one thing though. You also did say weeks ago, you're like, oh, I don't even know the date. I don't know what's coming out. So it felt like you were kind of falling out of love with Halo Infinite a little bit. So don't try to make it seem like this whole time you're on board.
You said you made it. You felt like I was falling out of love, or did I specifically
100%.
say
You didn't even know the release date of a game? Yeah,
that doesn't mean I'm falling out of love.
Oh,
They're released. Do we know when they're releasing it right now? I don't think so. It's very.
They don't even know. Holiday 2021.
They don't even know.
Yeah.
It's extremely convoluted.
What do you think about all this?
I'm excited. I really, really am. I'm glad it was just a short, simple thing. We didn't need to go super in depth into the gameplay after last year, but it feels very much like it's Halo 1 to its core. And I say that not being like, oh, it's just it's going to have that complete like nostalgic trip, but it just feels like they've taken elements that made Halo 1 unique in the character and in the storyline. And I'm excited to see how this will be flushed out in this movie, because even from that cinematic that we got, it wasn't just this super soldier going through space. Like, as I'm looking at, like, he's checking over the bodies of these soldiers that obviously are dead, like looking at them, and just in the past few games that 343 has put out, they've really done a fantastic job at fleshing out Chief and showing off his humanity and trying to really put out, okay, like there's a difference between soldiers and human beings, and that there's so much weight on their shoulders, what they have to do. And especially with Master Chief, and the story and the development that we're going to get here, I think is awesome, because he's with this other character, this pilot who's lost everything and is lost basically to humanity, trapped on this godforsaken ring with Master Chief. So the fact again that we're going to have an open world Halo game, and it's going to be exploring around, doing side missions, I guess, too, which is very interesting and unique for Halo. That's a big change. So again, I'm hoping that it continues to a degree the storyline that we left off in with Halo Wars 2, because it feels like those storylines are all converging into this to some degree. So I am so bloody excited, and I just want it to be polished. I want it to be good, and multiplayer. Yeah, I'm there.
I can go next, I
Sure.
guess. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this one. I feel like the thing I'm most excited for Infinite is to play the single player, and what Taylor was talking about with the kind of more open world element to it, and see that game, even though the showing last year wasn't amazing. That's still the part I'm most excited for, and the fact that is somewhere in the cosmos, who knows when that's coming out, is a bit troublesome. I will jump into the multiplayer and check it out, but I think that's kind of the part I was less excited for. I mean, I will still be there trying it out with Taylor for sure, and whoever else wants to jump in. So yeah, and I don't know. I think it looked a bit better in terms of graphics this time around, so that's something. But yeah, I think I was more curious about the story, or the single player at least, and didn't really get that today. So that's a bit disappointing. But at least part of it's coming out this year, so silver lining, I guess.
Well, and it's still unclear as far as it seems like everyone's still reporting that both things are coming out this year.
So I went back in the show, they had like a coming to Game Pass 2021 little slide, and I'll go over that at some point. But in there it says holiday Halo Infinite multiplayer specifically. So I think it's just multiplayer, and that's kind of what it seemed like from the show.
I got the same vibe as you, but they haven't put out anything yet, so I'm wondering if they're still waiting to drop that bomb and be like, well, we kind of were, but like I'm with you of like, if it's not delayed,
they wrote it here on the conference. It says it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but then everybody's just saying like multiplayer and campaign coming, because they had that slide of them side by side. So I don't know. Clay, what about you? You excited for some new Halo?
I am. I will be completely honest. I have not played any Halos since ODST. That was a while ago, a long while ago. I was always one of those fanboys that was like, oh, the only thing Xbox has for it is Halo. So I was all over it all the time. I will be honest though, I don't like their multiplayer just because it gets a little toxic sometimes, but that's any multiplayer to be completely honest. So this I'm excited to like just jump into the story, to be completely honest, just knowing, just like how Taylor said, the stories of each game kind of going to at a head with this. For me, I always equate it to almost like Star Wars Legends books. How, like, for me, I was always a reader of Halo books, and so just I love the world that Halo has like really created. So to finally get the next installment is really exciting.
Okay, so we're gonna pivot because we got 15 minutes left. So we're gonna talk about Redfall because that's the biggest one, and then after Redfall, we're just gonna rapid fire. I'm gonna give you a game real quick. So Dylan, you start off. Obviously, this was a big thing. They ended with Arcane. You brought up that they showed it earlier. The nice little preview by Pete Haynes with the shirt and everything. Pete Hines. Fuck. Enough with Haynes. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, yeah. So Arcane Studios is right now my just favorite AAA studio. They're just consistently making games that are incredibly interesting to me in terms of the art, the world, and then the gameplay as well. And they haven't missed so far. Like Dishonored 1 and 2 are some of my favorite games ever. Prey was also fantastic. I love everything we've seen about Deathloop. We'll find out what that's like in September. And then there was kind of rumors that they're working on a vampire themed game that is coming out at some point, because they have kind of two studios now that are working on games, so it makes sense that two games are kind of going to be announced at some point. And I mean it was a cinematic trailer only, no gameplay whatsoever, but I loved it. I mean, I think once again, like, just the style and world, like just the kind of costumes that they're wearing, the look of the weapons and all that is so on top. Like, I love the art team, the world building that they do. I'm down for this game. It looks really weird. The weapons look super interesting. Like, she had like this purple umbrella, like explosive gun. I don't even know. Some crazy stuff in there. So I'm of course incredibly excited. The thing I'm really curious about here is they talked about multiplayer. It's kind of hard to get a vibe exactly what that means. I have to watch a trailer again. But that's something that Deathloop is kind of exploring for the first time with them, is this kind of element where one of the assassins that you're tracking down can be filled in by an actual player and hunt you down. And it seems like this might have that Left 4 Dead element to it, where it's like a 4-player team almost that could be going through these levels. So that's the thing I'm most curious about, because that's really the departure. Obviously, thematically, it's a departure from their previous games, but that could be a big differentiator. I don't know if I need that, but I am open to it, especially with Game Pass, makes it easier for other people to come in and join you. But I hope that there is still a robust single-player experience, because that's always what their games have been for me. So I'm incredibly excited. I'm not necessarily a big vampire guy, but I'm just down for whatever Arcane does. And I love that, though, their take on this kind of world and setting is very stylish and speaks to me greatly.
Yeah, Arcane, I'm just waiting to dip my toes in, because Prey I really wanted to play, and it just came out at a time where there's other games I just had to make choices, never got around to. Dishonored, it never really spoke to me, but one thing I've liked about these, and Deathloop I plan on getting, especially right now, there's not too many fall games, so it's in the books, is the world building. Every time I see a trailer, it feels unique, it feels very different, but it feels like core to what they're doing. But like, if you look at Dishonored, Prey, Deathloop, and now this, they're so distinctive, and it's like it doesn't feel like it's a big leap for them to step out. It's like, oh, they're doing something new, and it steps out. Like, I remember the first time we saw it, Deathloop trailer, I was like in right away, the style, the music, and this right away. I'm not as in as I was with Deathloop as far as Dylan. Like, I'm not like a massive vampire guy, and like I like the idea, like, okay, we got in some hybrids. I think, like Taylor Dillon said, the weapons there, it was a really cool world, but I wasn't right away jumped in. This is one where, okay, I want to see a little more. They talked about multiplayer, who knows, but the fact that they're showing 4 people gets me intrigued. Of like, I doubt it would be 4, but you never know. Like, that was a big emphasis on a group of 4. So we'll see. My hype might go up if I play Deathloop and just love it. Then I might be in the Dylan bandwagon where it's like, okay, whatever they're going to do, I'm going to be on board. But I always give them credit. Like, this seems something really cool. And I think the biggest thing is like Xbox ended with it. They didn't end with a big IP. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's not like a Star Wars and Marvel and Indiana Jones. This to me is showing lots of faith in a game that now they are the owners of. It They announced Xbox exclusive. They said summer 2022.
Yeah.
Hopefully that date sticks. Like Dylan said, they have been working on, but I think that to me just shows a lot of faith that Bethesda or Xbox, whoever is the higher up seeing this game, they got faith in this. They easily could have put different things around, but them ending on this, I think, gives me at least really good signs. So, Clay, where were you on what was this, Redfall? Right? I like the title. I like the font, everything like that.
Yeah. I really dig the aesthetic of this thing. I was gonna ask you, how do you feel about another vampire game though? Because we saw a vampire game yesterday, and you were like, "Oh, I don't know about this." So
yeah, I'm the same as Dylan. It's like I'll see more, but it's not like, oh yes, and like these vampires were vampires, but they were more like these monsters floating. So maybe that'll help. Maybe if it's like this guy who's like opening a portal, who I assume was like making it turn into nighttime, right? That's what I'm assuming he was maybe doing, because it was day and the portal was getting like blacker and blacker. So maybe that's what I was assuming, that he's trying to make it day so they could come out. So if we get more monster magical, maybe that will be a bit better for me as far as, okay, it's not just another vampire game.
yeah, I dug this cinematic. It was so cool. For me, I was working at games. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the title of the freaking store. GameStop. No,
GameStop.
Yeah, GameStop. When Dishonored 2 came out, and they actually gave us free copies, digital copies of Dishonored 1 and 2. So I fell in love with them immediately after, like, hey, try our game. Just random freaking, employees of this podunk freaking store. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll play it. And it got me hooked to the idea of wanting to play Deathloop. I haven't played it yet, but it is on my wish list. Kind of hoping for a small little discount, so that way it doesn't dip the pocket too much. But this, did it also say Games Pass first day or no?
Oh, I think it might have actually.
I think it did, because they did say Xbox exclusive. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right.
Games Pass.
It will. Yeah,
they did say Xbox
Studio. It's coming day one. Yeah.
So if anything, it will be a Game Pass for me. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad to hear that you're a Dishonored fan. Always down for more Dishonored fans.
It wasn't really a series that I had really thought about playing, but anybody can give me anything free and I'll be like, hey, this is the best thing in the world, So when I jumped into it, it was actually a really, really fun game.
Amazing.
Taylor Field, did this get you hyped? You always like creepy things and monsters. You love those Twilight movies. So what do you feel with this?
Yeah, this had me excited. It looked very much like a 4-person co-op game where you guys are just slaying vampires, rescuing like maybe teammates or two, and just I'm excited to see gameplay, because just the way in the cutscene they moved around the map, and they're like, okay, they just teleport up with her abilities to the top of this building and everything along those lines. I just think that's super cool, like how you can like take advantage of a situation and get the jump on your enemies. And it looks like it's got a good dose of humor thrown into the mix too, which just felt great. So everything, like you said, Dylan, the weapons that they were using with like the cool color schemes to them was just so different and unique. So I am
the Gambit guy
excited
with the smoke eye, he's looking at Gambit over there.
I'm so excited for it.
It's not just because they use Child, but like it gave a Guardians of the Galaxy type of vibe, like the character dynamics of like the kind of joking here and there, lots of action, lots of cool effects and everything. So
that is a good point, because that's like in the world, that song. So it makes me think that, or at least it felt that way, which is not like all of their games have been fantasy, like their own kind of, I guess Prey maybe is in reality, but it seems like they do their own take on things. So I think it's interesting that they had that, which makes me think of this song or it's a game that takes place like in our world or an alternate reality or something like that.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I know we got Square coming up next, and the big rumors that like the Guardians game is going to be there potentially. And that's why it's like, have they got it wrong? Has Arcane been working on it this whole time? But then like it zoomed out. So we got like under 10 minutes. So what I was going to say is there any games you guys wanted to shout out just specifically? They showed a lot of stuff of Fight Simulator, Forza, Age of Empires, Outer Worlds 2. Yeah, go ahead. Anything you saw from the concert on shout, go down.
Yeah, they had this slide in here coming to Game Pass 2021, and it was like a quick slide. So I just want to quickly go through it. So June, today they said Yakuza Like a Dragon's coming, then Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance that we saw in Summer Game Fest, The Ascent that we saw today, Hades coming on August 13th, 12 Minutes in August 19th as well. September 17th, Origami 2. I don't think we saw that in the conference today.
No.
but that's one. Sable apparently coming to Game Pass September 23rd.
That's good
And then
for
that
you.
game Anacrusis that we saw is in fall. Scorn in fall. Back for Blood October 12th. Shredders come in December. Among Us at some point. Hello Neighbor 2, The Gunk also. Those are two 2021 games.
Gunk.
And then Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, Forza, and Halo are all in the fall as well. So that's a lot of some games that we didn't actually see today as well that are apparently coming this year.
And that's cool. Like Back for Blood, like a few things like that. It's like it's cool that these are coming to Games Pass. These are games that I might try later on and down the line, everything like that. So, and also Taylor, I was disappointed we talked about this. I was really hoping we get a confirmation of Evil Dead being in here. But I feel like if it would have been Games Pass, it would have been there. So the only thing I wanted to shout out really that we saw, and we'll talk about over ratings as far as Forza, it was too long, wasn't a fan, but was replaced.
Yeah,
that Cyberpunk 2, the 2.5D art thriller or whatever. It was just dated for 2022. But man, in fact, that's coming to Game Pass because it's always been a joke, right? I always say like, screw PC and, I'm not a big indies guy, but there's some indies I play. But that's the thing with Games Pass as far as like the reason I've lost time never done indies because like even if it's $20, I might feel like I might not have time to do that because it's like I have to play these other games that I don't already have the time to play. But if it's on Games Pass, that's where it's great for just like easy. This game I will 100% play on my radar. Where before it's like that looks cool, I might get it, but we'll have to see. But in fact, it's free. I'll download it, at least give it some time because it's free. If I don't complete it, I don't feel bad. But the look of it, man, it looks so. Because sometimes games really go for like really, really old school, like the 2D scroller, and they did that, but like it looked like it was updated. It looked like it was when I have like movies trying to do an old effect, but in current time. That's why like it was this mix of like new graphics with old aesthetics and stuff. The music was great. The style like this I saw as like for an indie game too. I was like, wow, like I was falling in love. So whenever this game comes out, I'll be on top of it. Replaced. That was my like almost game of the show maybe.
That's awesome, man. I really liked that one as well. What do I want to shout out? I guess I should shout out Atomic Heart. I messed up my own name. My tag has been Adam Heartcaster for years, so the fact there's a game called Atomic Heart coming out, the trailer was really weird. It showed just all these different themes and universes kind of mashed into one. So I don't know what to think about it, but I mean, the name alone has me intrigued. Outer Worlds 2 getting announced is kind of a big deal that I don't think we really have time to go into now, but that's I love a lot of things about the first game. There's also a lot of things I really hate and I hope they iterate on, but there's an amazing foundation there for what could turn out to be an amazing set of RPGs over the next few years. So I'm glad that that's coming back.
Good for them.
What was the other one?
Grounded, there was Shredders, Age of Empire.
Yeah, I think it was replaced was really like, the other one really standout hit for me. There's a lot. There's a few more in here that I'm really excited for. I'm really just excited for tons of this just because it's all Game Pass stuff. But I think we got a good slate of things for 2021 and then just a shit ton of things for 2022. So that thing we've always been talking about is like, where are the games Xbox? It seems like this next year and a half, 2 years, and then ideally just continuing on that we're good to go. They're going to have lots of good stuff, it seems like.
Yeah, and we got more Far Cry. That's enough of Far Cry. They got to stop showing that off. The game's coming out. Taylor, shout any games that we didn't talk about, and then drop your rating. Me and Dylan drop our ratings, and we'll get out of here because we're at Square in 4 minutes.
I guess I don't have any other games to shout out. Just Outer Worlds 2 looks great. So that's exciting. Again, Diablo 2, I think that's hype. Aside from the heavy hitters, there were a few titles that I wish we got to see. Like I would have loved to have seen some gameplay for State of Decay 3. I would have loved to have seen like what they're kind of up to with Gears or like anything with Gears Tactics, because Tactics is a great game too. But again, not that I was sold on it, but anything Star Wars related is always welcome. It just seems like the studios are all silent with it being available to everyone to work on now, which is just weird. But I will give this conference, I'd probably go like a 4.5 out of 5. Again, the Forza stuff really just kind of pulled me out of it. And there were a few things I wanted to see, but for the most part, everything has me really excited. I think we're going to have a lot of stuff we're going to be playing together now that we're all Xbox bros.
Yeah, I'm the same as Taylor. I'm a 4.5. If it wasn't Forza, could have been a 5. I think Starfield 2 was a little underwhelming, but that Forza thing, just because it was a really strange, that big block. But 4.5. Clay, what would you give this conference out of 5 for excitement hype level?
I would say a 4.5 as well. mainly because of Forza. As far as everything else, like I said, I was coming into this thing blind, so I can't necessarily be underwhelmed by anything because I had no expectations on any of these games. I think overall the actual performance of the entire event was really, really well done. We got some really quick trailers and just announcement. There was no freaking production studios getting in the way and talking. They left all of that for Forza. So overall, I could have easily said this would be a 5 out of 5 if they would have just cut maybe 5 minutes of that Forza thing out. So
yeah. Dylan, what about you?
I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna copy you guys and say 4.5 as well. I think I really, in terms of hype level, I'm at a full 5, but there are some things to critique, like Starfield. I would have liked to see a bit more. I think we could have seen just more gameplay in general. Like there was a lot of just cinematic stuff in here. I think the Fallout thing also bumped me out. That 76 is just gonna keep on going, and all these locations are just gonna get added to it. That's not what I want for Fallout. And then I think Forza Horizon, even though I am excited to play that and I will be playing it, they went a bit too long on there. But overall, amazing show, and I'm very happy that I bought my Series X. That would have been the worst thing if it's man, should I have bought this thing? But now it's okay, my cost is justified. This looks fucking amazing. So I'm very stoked.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with Square Enix stuff. If you're on the podcast feed, it'll be there probably already when you get this. So it will not be boring. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye-bye.